make sure we got some stream here. Gotta make sure we're streaming. Gotta find out. No foot cam and no shifter cam today because we're doing something specific. And I forgot to change the damn name of the... I'm sorry, I forgot to change the name of the live stream. I forgot that the name is not on YT or KICK. It's on a different platform altogether. So hopefully that'll be all right. The goal... Hey, Testing, how you doing, man? The goal of this stream here is to get some footage for a video specifically geared towards the performance of the 7900 XTX with EA WRC. Now, I did a full Windows reinstall or a fresh install. A lot of people were saying like, oh, if you're experiencing problems with AMD, do a fresh install. And I was like, okay, that sounds like a good idea. So I did that. I, of course, used the, what's it called? The DDU or whatever it's called, where you take all the drivers off all at once. I did that. Obviously, I updated my BIOS. I updated my, what is it, the motherboard. I updated everything, all my drivers. I have the newest everything, and things are still a little bit weird, in my opinion, but it does seem maybe better. I don't know. Now, keep in mind, I'm doing this with OBS running in the background, so keep that in mind. When I say FPS numbers like 60 to 70 frames per second, that's because I got OBS in the background. Without OBS, I'll get like, what is it, 10 or 20 more frames or something like that. Maybe not that much, but something significant. You know, I can definitely notice. Trenton, what's up? On the YT there. Yeah, so we're just going to try to get a nice presentable run. It doesn't have to be like the best, doesn't have to be like super clean, but just something presentable on a good-looking stage. And so far, in my opinion, the best, sort of most convincing-looking stages in this game are in Kenya. I mean, like, when I look at some of the Kenya stages, it kind of looks similar to a real-life location. There's some others that look pretty decent, but, I mean, overall, the graphic style or the presentation of this game, I don't think looks very convincing. It doesn't look very authentic. It doesn't look very realistic. It looks like an Unreal Engine 4 game, to me. It looks like a good one. You know, there's some nice aspects to the game. But basically, I think that the game does look pretty good when you max everything out. And recently I discovered, this is kind of weird, because it's counterintuitive. It's very counterintuitive to me. I've discovered that instead of compromising and then, you know, cutting this graphical feature, you know, just chopping things up like shredded lettuce. Instead of doing that, I just max everything out. And even though I have a lower overall frame rate, my FPS is down considerably from like 110 to 100, almost 120. It almost never gets to 120 for some reason. It almost always maxes out like 119 or 118, 117, whatever. But yeah, anywhere from 110 to 120-ish frames per second, down to 60 to 70. But the game feels smoother. I'm sure I'm introducing, you know, almost twice the amount of input lag, but it almost doesn't feel like it when your eyes see that it's smoother, if that makes sense. Like because it's smoother, it feels like the car is more responsive than when there's like frame pacing issues. There's times when I'm playing this game or, you know, other games when I'm streaming specifically. Like when I'm playing it just by itself, it runs really, really well compared to when OBS is running. So I think OBS is part of the problem, but since I am a streamer and I use OBS, it's pretty important that a game runs well with that, you know, OBS running in the background. Where was I going with that? Yeah, the game just, it feels smoother and it feels like the cars react more predictably when the game is running worse on paper. It doesn't, and I think it just has to do with the inconsistent frame pacing of this game mostly. This game is not very well optimized compared to a lot of games, and it's getting better. But Also because, I mean, I think it's partially AMD's fault. I think AMD is not really on top of things like NVIDIA is with their driver updates. Like I said, I think I've only updated the drivers on this graphics card, I think twice. Once when I first installed it, and then one more time since I've had it. And it's been like 2 months. And it seems like I should have, you know, at least like 4 or 5 updates in 2 months. Maybe I'm just kind of remembering things inaccurately, and maybe the NVIDIA drivers weren't that frequent, but it seemed like the NVIDIA drivers were much more frequent than AMD's. So, anyway, I'm just going to get a little bit of footage here. We're going to drive a Kenya stage, hopefully a shorter one here, and we're just going to try to, you know, show off what the 7900 XTX can do with everything maxed out. Because that's the only solution I've come up with. And no upscaling, you know, and also no motion blur. But let me just show you what I'm talking about here, like settings-wise, so you can see what I'm running. So basic graphics, it's 5120 by 1440p. So from what I've researched, it's kind of almost in line with 4K in terms of how much performance I'm asking from the game. So if this were a standard 1440p, you know, 16 by 9 aspect ratio screen, I think I could be getting probably like 160 frames or 130 frames on average. Maybe not with these graphics settings, but with my old graphics settings. So take that into account. I'd been stuck in my head thinking, oh, this is only 1440p. Why is this not working smoothly? I'm running 1440p, but with 5,120 pixels on the, you know, the other end of that. So, yeah, Epic anti-aliasing, VSync is off, which maybe it should be on, actually. Maybe I should try that in this stream and see if it feels better. Anisotropic filtering 16 times, and then the upscaler is off. I think the AMD upscaler that's included in this game is horrible. I don't know why they have not implemented the future iterations, or not future, the newer iterations of Fidelity FX. I think Fidelity FX 2 and 3 is out right now, so it's really strange. Hey, Dad. Hey. So I don't know why they haven't implemented it unless they just don't have the manpower to, you know, throw a couple lines of code together. I don't know how many lines of code it would take to get that to happen. I shouldn't pretend to know, but I feel like it should be doable for a professional coding team to implement better features into the game when much newer options are available right now, from my knowledge. I could be wrong. And I'm pretty sure DLSS has new versions too, but I know this game was made back maybe when those weren't available, but it's really strange to me that it hasn't been updated, because there's been like 9 updates or something like that, and they still have ignored that completely, when upscaling technology, you know, AI upscaling technology is the future of gaming. You know, it's going to only get better, and the fact that they're just like, be like, ah, whatever, bit frustrating, but I will say that this particular graphics card I'm using is a beast when it comes to pure rasterization. I think I'm saying that right. Or is it rasterization? I don't know. I think rasterization is the proper word. Correct me if I'm wrong. But, yeah, it looks better to me with the upscaler off and just running at, you know, Epic anti-aliasing quality. It looks pretty damn smooth to me. Okay, so, and then the advanced graphics, everything's on ultra and on, except for motion blur. So motion blur is off. So to kind of clarify what I'm talking about, I used to set only like 4 or 5 settings to ultra, and then like the rest to off, or like ultra low, or as low as they can go before they start looking horrible. That's how I was doing it before, and I was getting inconsistent frame rates, and it was making the game feel like it was like 40 frames per second, or maybe less sometimes. And it was all jittery and weird sometimes when it shouldn't be. So now that I'm running everything at max, it seems to be more stable, even though it's less performance overall. What should we try here? Let's go to Kenya, because Kenya, in my opinion, just looks the best out of all the stages that have been designed for this game. All the stages in Kenya look equally good, but we do want to pick like a shorter one just so we can get some Let's do a 6 mile one. 6.6. Let's try this one. Now, I haven't tested it. I haven't tested this theory with weather or night, and I know that those things can add more stress. So maybe we'll try that in this live stream. But let's keep it slow for now because I haven't warmed up at all. So I'll do this one. By the way, if anyone hasn't already, go check out my new album. It's called Wake Up. So just search Douglas Thompson Wake Up on YT or whatever your favorite music platform is, and it should pop up. I've heard from my sister that it's also on like Apple and iTunes. I thought it was gonna be another week before that happened. Really quick this time around. But it's 7 songs. I cut a couple songs from the album that I didn't feel fit the theme of the album, so maybe it'll be on the next album. But it's mostly electronic stuff, but obviously I did the vocals. I made everything. I made all the beats and everything, did all the mixing and mastering. But there's a lot of... The theme basically is it's not about like politics or anything like that. It's just about waking up, like don't waste your time, don't let people walk on you, all that kind of stuff. But okay. Right off the bat, by the way, the cars look so much better with everything set to ultra. This car doesn't look quite real, but it does look way better than what it does with my old settings. Let's see what we got here. Like, so we're running at 67, 65 frames per second. So typically, yeah, it's running to 60 to 70. Now it's at 70 right now. And the game seems to run better with, wait a second. We're not getting any sound from the game for some reason. The game seems to run better when you're in the cockpit than when you see a lot of the dirt and stuff like that simulated in the background. So I'm sure, like, if you play in third person, this might be different. But also when we're doing replays, you'll notice that the performance is about 5 to 10 frames per second slower. Okay, let's see if that... Okay, now we got sound. That Windows refresh thing kind of messed up all my settings. I mean, this already just feels smoother to me. Like, I can tell it's 60 frames per second. Like, it doesn't... Like, I wish it was higher frame rate, but honestly, I'll sacrifice that just to keep the frame time smoother and more predictable, because I don't know, maybe they just optimize the game for you know, these settings. I don't know. I haven't done any warm up, by the way, so I'm gonna probably be pretty rough on this first run. But if it's a usable run and I don't crash too many times, we'll use it. See, now we're at still solid 60 frames. I haven't seen it dip. Okay, it just dipped to 59. Oh shit. I need to not, okay. But yeah, like, typically it doesn't dip below 60, so it's pretty solid. And again, if you're not running OBS, you could expect probably easily a solid 60 with everything set to ultra. Now we're at 56, actually. Okay, so we're finding some weaknesses here, but again, like the gap from the lowest frames to the highest frames is about, like, what is it, like 8 to 10 frames? And then before, sometimes it would dip down to like the 70s from the hundreds. So that's like already a difference of like 30. So, and again, I haven't done like a ton of testing, but this is just like a just an idea to maybe try to see if this helps even things out. After this, we're gonna try some heavy weather to see if that slows things down. I can't really hear the co-driver, so I'm just kind of driving with my eyeballs, as we all do. Uh-oh. I miss my windshield wipers being right here, but does anyone agree? Does it look smoother to you all? Oh my god. I don't have a windshield wiper button set up, so we're just gonna have to run with the rain droplets. Oh. I'm gonna be going to Washington D.C. soon for my son's. He's moving to Washington D.C. For college, so we're gonna go help him set up. My wife and I, and also his grandmother, and make sure like he's in a safe area and just I don't know, just see what's happening. So I'll be gone for like 4 or 5 days. I've never taken so much time off. Like, I mean, I have like almost 300 hours of annual saved up, vacation time right now, and I've already used like 400 in the past. Not 400. I don't know how many. I was exaggerating. Okay, we're definitely gonna have to take another run at this. I'm not like listening to my co-driver, but basically I'm gonna be gone for a little bit. I might take some gaming stuff with me and do some basic live streaming stuff. Maybe I'll do some retro gaming on a live stream. See how that goes. I don't know. I tried that before and it didn't go too well, but who knows? Maybe it'll go better now that I have a little bit of a following with on my main channel. I'll do a live stream on my main channel, maybe on my Douglas Thompson channel, and because I'm getting a little bit of a following on retro game, emulation handheld consoles over there. Getting a little bit of traction with that. I have a new one coming, by the way. It's a little $40 special, but it's gonna be pretty cool. It's made by Miyu, if you're familiar with that. It's gonna play up to PlayStation 1 games solid. It's a little micro device and some N64 and some Dreamcast games, I guess. Oh my god, we're dead. So I'm pretty excited about that. I started exercising again. I haven't been exercising since I got really sick when I was in California. It was strep throat. It's probably my 3rd or 4th time having strep throat in my life. Actually, it's my 4th because I know I've had at least 3. Strep throat sucks. My dad luckily figured it out. He's like, let me look in your throat. I was like sick for like 3 or 4 days, something like that. And he thought about it, and he's like, oh, he remembered that I used to get those when I was younger. And I haven't had it in, oh shit, I haven't had it in a long time. But it took me out, and my wife was like, why are you being a baby? And it was like just ravaging my body. So luckily she understood after that. Then I got on antibiotics, and then I started getting better like after the first day, which is amazing. Thank you, modern medicine. Even though I have some trust issues about medication and stuff like that, there's no doubt about that certain medications definitely are a benefit to humanity and my own personal health many times. So I mean, I try to avoid any medicines I don't need. I don't even take pain meds. Like, when I had surgeries and stuff, I didn't take the pain meds. I just fucking dealt with it. I think it's better to be able to feel it, and know what's going on in your body. And then, also so you can know if you're pushing things too hard, in your recovery. But, now I've taken aspirin and stuff before, like if I'm trying to sleep or something like that, but, I'm pretty against like a lot of unnecessary medications, stuff that you can just get by without. Like if my eyes are completely shut, from allergies, which has happened multiple times, like where my eyes like, oh, I can't see anything and I can't even work, I'll take some allergy medicine, right? But most of the time I'll just deal with it and I'll be all stuffed up, and my wife's always like, she's always like, Doug, just take some fucking medication or some allergy stuff. And I'm like, no, I can handle it. And it's probably just my own, oh shit. It's probably just my own stubbornness and stuff like that. And I don't know, maybe I'm like punishing myself for something I feel guilty for. I don't know. But that's just kind of my mentality, and that's just what I do. And I'm sure it's gonna bite me more than it already has at some point. Okay, so I will say, I have noticed it get a little bit choppy right here. This is at 48 frames per second. So maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe I shouldn't even make this video. We'll test it out. because now we're getting about a spread. So it's 48. What is it? 48 to 70. So that's almost a similar spread to what I get when I have certain features cut. Okay, so I could be wrong about my theory here. Yeah, at the end there. So I will say I noticed it only at the end. And remember like how I was complaining a lot of times about like the very end of the stage starts getting really choppy. So it's still like the end of the, I think they're not unloading assets or unloading like, I think they're just they're holding on to too much, maybe outside of the player's view. What is it called? Culling? Is it called culling, I think? Juan, what's up? It does look smoother. You want to love this game so bad. Some reasons I can't. It doesn't hit the way I'm expecting it to, but still haven't given up. Same. I really do enjoy the game. When it runs well, it can be a lot of fun. I can just enjoy myself playing this game. It's not what I would consider anywhere near a serious simulation game. I don't care how much, you know, they pay, you know, these WRC Rally 1, Rally 2, Rally 3 drivers. I don't care how much they pay them to say that this feels one-to-one to real life. No. I know what a basic car feels like, how it moves and stuff like that, and this game does not convey those movements. And again, you can tell immediately. Look at this. This is how you can tell. Look at how the car moves. I've never seen a car move like this in real life. You know, this is always my argument when people say like, you know, they were telling me like, you haven't even played the game and you're complaining about the physics. Physics are observable. Think about it. How do you think we learn how physics work? Is with our eyes, with testing, right? If you drop a ball, right, and it doesn't bounce right in a game, you can tell, or bounce right in a movie, you can tell it's fake. But if it bounces in real life, you'd be like, okay, so here's the mass of the ball. Like you filled it up with this much air. This is the material on the outside. It's got this texture on the outside. When it bounces on a hard surface, it bounces about this much. You instinctively start to know what things look like, what things sound like, what things feel like, right? By living. When have you seen a car that moves like that? You haven't. Yeah, I mean, it's close, right? But it's nowhere near as close as RBR. It's nowhere near as close as a Assetto Corsa in a lot of instances. Well, Assetto Corsa like has some really weird physics for dirt, but like on a lot of the paved stuff like that, it looks pretty damn good. What's another? BeamNG. Like, you can't argue that those games look way better physics-wise. I mean, this game looks like it's like the car's just kind of glued to the ground, all weird. I look at that. Like, anyway, I don't want to get like into a hate session because I do like this game, but when people argue with me and say like, oh no, this feels, oh my gosh, like, no, it doesn't. There's no fucking way it does. Anyway, you like that, Dad? So, they have a lot of work to do. Hopefully they'll correct it in a future iteration. I mean, look at that. That looks so weird. Like, cars don't glue to the ground like that. Like, that's not how cars move. Okay. But, as I said, the game is a lot of fun. So now let's go to a wet stage. Let's do a night stage and in the wet. And I know that's kind of like a British saying, in the wet. But I like saying it. I like saying in the wet. There's nothing wrong with saying in the wet. People know what the hell you're talking about, right? When you're in the rain, in the wet. I gotta go to hospital. Okay. What are we doing here? Time. Oh wait, we can't do wet stuff in time trials. So let's go to quick play. I guess create. Sure. Pick the same car. Where's going to be... the snow is garbage in this game. It just is, unfortunately. So we're not going to even test that. I've given snow too many opportunities to be good. Let me get some juice up in here. It is frustrating, Juan. Like, you know, I thought because you know, everyone told me it's EA games, right? They got bought by EA. They're gonna destroy the company. I was like, you know what? Let's throw some hope into this equation, right? Let's list the pros here before we list the cons. The pros are EA has a ton of money. That's pro number one. Pro number two, EA has great marketing, so the game can be a big thing, right? And then pro number three of this game, that I don't know if it's related to EA or not, but they acquired the official WRC license. That's a big deal. Last time they had the official World Rallycross license, but they didn't have a rally license, and that's why they didn't feature, you know, a lot of classic or contemporary rally locations. I got some swallowing ASMR there. See if you can hear my throat. Could you hear my throat? Could anyone hear my throat? Yeah, so they acquired the license, and I'm like, oh my gosh. They did it. They're going to take this seriously. They're going to make this the most accurate rally simulation because they're representing the entire sport at this point. Not the entire sport, but at least for World Rally Championship, right? Like, they're not representing ARA or whatever other divisions or any local stuff, but they're representing like the bread and butter of rally, the biggest, you know, like that to me was like they're going to take this seriously. They're a super passionate team. It's Codemasters. They love rally stuff. They have since long time ago. Really, I played a Game Boy Color game that was what was it? I think it was like Colin McRae Rally on the Game Boy, and it was one of it had the best physics I've ever experienced on a Game Boy Color racing game. You could tell that they really were passionate. It had voice. There was voice in a Game Boy Color game saying left 1, left 2, like right 5. Yeah, and really cool stuff. And there was like particle effects, and there was like stuff, and then there was physics. You could hit stuff and like push it out of the way. Like, really impressive stuff. Codemasters has impressed me a bunch of times. They've also let me down a bunch of times, right? I mean, in my opinion, Dirt Rally 1 was kind of like the pinnacle of the rally stuff, even though the physics were weird. They were weird. They weren't very good. They were decent, right? They were kind of convincing, but they weren't good. They weren't awesome. They just felt like too grippy, and I don't know. And then Dirt Rally 2 came out, and then that was cool. You know, it had everything Dirt Rally 1 had, plus then some, and it kind of gave the cars a little bit more weight that you had to kind of throw around, but it still didn't feel right. And I compared the physics to office chair physics, right? It just felt like the cars just rotated like this from the middle, right? Like you spin around an office chair, that's how your cars rotated in Dirt Rally 2.0. You could always, doesn't matter how fast or how slow you're going, you could throw your car around a hairpin, and you just can't do that in real life. You can't. It's physically impossible if you don't have enough momentum to throw the rear end of your car around. If you're going like 2 miles an hour, you can't get your back end sliding out enough to get around a hairpin. But you could in Dirt Rally 2.0, you'd be going like 10 miles an hour and somehow just, you know, no. And then in this game, I don't know, like the pavement just kind of feels weird. I don't know. But, and again, I need to remind myself, I need to remind others, you know, I haven't driven it in these exact cars, right? That's not where my experience lies. My experience lies in like grassroots, you know, total piece of shit cars, but high performance. You know, I could beat some of these cars off the line at least. But I know how a car should feel though. I've driven many cars aggressively on multiple surfaces with good tires, bad tires, good suspension, bad suspension, high performance, low performance. I know what cars should feel like when they're sliding around and doing stuff, and this game does not convey that well at all. Better than Dirt Rally 2.0 in some ways, but a step backwards also in some ways, in my opinion. BeamNG is the closest I've felt, along with Richard Burton's Rally, to accurate feeling suspension and tires gripping up. Easy. And unfortunately, those games are very fragmented, though. We need a modern take at Rally from a team that just prioritizes physics and authenticity over everything. I don't care about, how good this, user interface looks and how colorful things are, like what kind of music you got going on. I don't want any music. I turn that shit off anyway. Like, that's annoying. Why would you, So anyway, I shouldn't say that. I'm a musician, right? Like, music, I'm not saying music is annoying, but in a racing game, it really zaps the, it zaps my vibes. It makes me feel like I'm playing a video game when there's music. And of course I am playing a video game, but I'm saying, like, I want my brain to be at least a little bit confused, as if, maybe I actually am racing. I want those split-second moments where I can forget that I'm playing a game. And I don't ever really get that with this game, unfortunately. I get that sometimes with Richard Burns Rally. I get that sometimes with BeamNG. But I don't ever get it with this game. I've never got it with... well, maybe in Dirt Rally 1, when I first started getting into VR... I could forget. Yeah, in VR it's a little bit different. I'm talking about like flat screen gaming. The majority of people play on a screen, 1 or 2 feet away from their face, I would think. Anyway, okay, so let's find this has a lot of trees. There's got to be some wet weather here, right? Let's do it in summer rain. Beautiful. Weather. Heavy rain. Time of day. Actually, let's make it dynamic. Let's do sunset, because if we do sunset, it'll start off kind of light, and it'll transition into night. So there'll be more processing taking place, I would imagine. I don't know if I'm right about that. We'll find out. Confirm. One can dream, yes. Assetto Corsa 2. I think Assetto Corsa 2, as long as we have dirt physics in Assetto Corsa 2, I was like, as long, what's that thing? The thing that like, he needs to do that. He needs to do this. I can't think of who does that a lot, but anyway, that's not what I was doing, and I wasn't doing like anything like where I'm clapping. I just use it to emphasize some things occasionally and pretend like I'm praying, I guess. But what was I talking about? Yeah, Assetto Corsa 2, I think, is our best bet right now for future hope. Right? Because they're going to have... They have to. They have to have some damn mixed surface racing, some dirt stuff. If they have any kind of dirt physics built into the game from the get-go, we're gonna be in. Because from what I've read, they're gonna embrace the modding community again. Because if they don't, they're fools. That is game. I'm not gonna say the S word, because I've heard that your streams get restricted and they just like die if you say the S word. The sui. It's game. What's a good replacement word? Is there a replacement word for that? That's not. How about it's game sui apple cider? If you do not have mod support nowadays, your game will cease to exist. And of course, we know that a lot of the big companies want that to happen. They don't want their game to have a shelf life past whenever the next game comes out. Why would they? They want more of your money. They don't want you to get one game and be satisfied for 5 or 10 fucking years. Why would they want that? That's less money for them. They want you to pay a damn subscription. $10 a month to play their video game. They would rake us over the coals. I don't even... Why is that a saying? Rake us over the coals? I guess if you're like dead meat, they would cook you by raking you over the coals. And you get cooked? I don't know. Where does that saying originate from? Look that up, someone. But yeah, they don't want that. But, so you see that the games that are still successful to this day started off either the community started modding the hell out of it and then they just came to accept it, or they just opened the doors at some point and they're like, hey, go ahead everyone, make the game better. See if I care. See if I care if you make the game better and make me more money. You know, like, people buy Assetto Corsa now just to start modding it, right? They buy the base game. People are still buying Assetto Corsa. How many years later is this, right? Like, that's a good game. It's a good foundation. It's a good base to mod off of. Anyway, Assetto Corsa 2 is going to have a much better base. It's going to have a lot of improvements that the community has implemented in Assetto Corsa 1 from the get-go. And then it's only going to get better from there. So if they have anything like Dirt Oval, which I'd imagine they would, right? They're going to have like Dirt Oval. If they have those dirt physics, we can, as the community, apply those dirt physics to the rest of the game and make it, you know, whatever stages we want. You know, as long as they're open to you know, content creators making stages for them or making courses for them, we're going to be in for a good time. It's going to be a good 10, 15 years of Assetto Corsa 2 dominance. So, yeah, I think it's going to be really important for the SimRacing community. Assetto Corsa 2 coming out, and I'm sad that it got pushed back, but I'm also happy because they're not pushing the game when it's not ready. That says to me, hey, we are adults. We can wait. You can wait, as a matter of fact, as the customer. And the product will be better. It's not presentable. We don't want to start off the game on a bad foot. It's not quite ready. We haven't put tires on the cars yet, so it's hard to drive. I mean, you know, that's what happened. Anyway, let's try this out. Let's try this theory. Everything's still set at max graphical fidelity. Starting off at 60, and not actually 59. So that means we're already starting off on a worse foot because we were at 65 just starting off before. So let's see what she drops down to. I'll try to keep an eye on that frame time. Shut up! Okay, 57, 55, 61, 60, 64, 61. Hey, W still windshield wipers. I didn't know if I had that set or not. Okay. Let's see what we got here.
5, 4, 3, 2,
it's 57 right now, so 58, 59, 60. Let me get some windshield wiper action going here. 60. Hey, it's still looking pretty damn smooth, honestly. This looks way better than it did. Okay, 61, 62. Yeah, honestly, this looks pretty damn good. I really wish the name of the stream wasn't something inaccurate right now, but I'll rename it after the video goes live. But yeah, this is looking pretty damn smooth. It's a 55, but we're, you know, give or take 5 frames here and there. 58. Pretty solid so far. I'm not noticing the frame drops. That's what I'm looking for, is like, I'm trying to look over there when I notice a frame drop, or kind of when it starts to chug along, and I haven't really noticed it. I'm just taking some automatic glances currently. But this looks pretty damn good, honestly. I still wouldn't say that this is really an improvement over like Dirt Rally 2 graphically. I mean, it's still, but it doesn't look that much worse when you max everything out. It still looks worse, in my opinion. I don't think that some of the effects that they've used, the techniques they've used, suit the surface of, you know, of the ground quite well. And even though the stage design is a lot better, and I'm glad that they're using, you know, a lot more realistic or real sections of road. And I think all of it's realistic. And I say realistic because they're not like photo scans. It's not like a photo. Okay, I just saw a dip. We got down to 50 right there. Solid 50. Like as low as you can go on 50. But that's not too big of a dip. Maybe it was a shader loading up because I mean I did do a full Windows reinstallation, so maybe the drivers got reset. I don't know. 55, 56. Oh, we're gonna die. Oh! What was I talking about? Yeah, but it doesn't look bad. I think that the graphics still look very, I think they just look kind of cartoony. You know, I said that about Dirt Rally 2.0. Dirt Rally 1, in my opinion, did not look cartoony. Dirt Rally 2 is a step backwards in authenticity. It didn't feel... It felt a little bit too... I used the word glitzy and glamoury. And... like the colors were just kind of off. And the colors feel off in this too. And the overexposure is insane. And it's... I've had like some of the developers even argue with me saying like that's how it looks in real life, and it's like, yeah, I've never seen like dirt look like snow before, ever. I don't care how much glare is on the screen. I've never seen dirt look like snow. I've never gone through a tunnel and have it taken like 3 or 4 seconds for my eyes to auto expose the image or whatever. Like it's just instant. You go from dark to light. It's not like a 5-second delay. Like they're emulating cameras. Your eyes are not cameras, even though they're kind of biological cameras. Your eyes are not cameras. Your eyes are eyeballs. They're not like someone's camera on an iPhone or whatever. You know, maybe that's what happens with cameras and video sources or whatever. But that's not what your eyes do. They don't... It doesn't take you like 5 seconds. Well, I mean, I guess maybe if you're having like some eye conditions, it could take longer for someone's eyes to expose. Or maybe if they're like on like that medication that people take to dilate their eyes. You know, their pupils are like this big. Yeah, something like that maybe. But me personally, unless I just got back from the eye doctor, I've never seen that phenomena take place, right? They're trying to replicate what a camera sees in certain instances. That's what a lot of games make the mistake of doing, because they're like, oh, it's photorealistic. It's like I don't want it to be photorealistic. I want it to be eyeball realistic. What does it look like to you? Try to replicate that. Don't try to replicate what a camera sees. You know, and they're like, well, what about all the people spectating? It's like, no, when you play a video game, you want it to look good to your eyes, not to everyone else's eyes when you're playing it afterwards, unless you're a streamer, right? If you're a streamer, I guess you want it to look like photoreal. Because like, oh man, like, is this real? I don't know, it looks photoreal. It's like, no, I want it to look good to your eyes. Your damn eyeballs. Anyway, what the hell is going on with the stream? Is it all jumpy and jittery for you guys? I know I'm getting all ranty, but I'm passionate. Let me wait a second. Let me move my hands. See if it's smooth. Does the stream look smooth, or is it jumping around? Like, it looks like it's jumping around to me. Oh, that looks kind of smooth. I don't know why it keeps on saying my keyframe intervals are too low now. Before they were too high, then I set it to 2, which is what it recommended. Now it's saying it's too low. Is there nobody in the chat anymore? Okay. Anyway, looks like my testing is flawed. We're gonna probably end the stream here. I don't want to stream for too long. How long have we been going live here for? Testing still here. Comes and goes. Damn it! It must be the encoder I'm using. Or... am I using AV1? Let me see what I'm using. I think I switched to a different encoder. Oh, streaming. No, I'm on the same video encoder. This is my CPU encoder. I tried the GPU encoder and it didn't. It was like skipping around a lot. I think my bitrate is higher now. I need to figure out how to do that automatic thing. There's a mode that allows you to set the stuff automatically to whatever your system, your recommended settings. I need to do that again and see what it comes up with. Okay, well, anyway, I think I've been live. How long have I been live for? Almost an hour here. Thought it was your Wi-Fi. No, it looks like it's mine too, but have we learned anything here besides let me try something here. Let me try something. Let me try to just adjust a single setting and see if we can get some significant performance gains here. Because for my particular monitor, I really can't tell the difference between like high and cinematic. I was just testing to see you know, what the performance was. So let's go ahead and put high instead of cinematic, because cinematic is the absolute highest anti-aliasing. And in a lot of games, anti-aliasing is a pretty heavy hitter. But I don't think it is on this game, at least at these, with my GPU in these settings, this resolution here. But let's try. Just see if we can get some sizable difference here. And no, it looks like we're still hovering at 59 at the start. Let's see if we drop to about 55 when we go. 56, 58, 62, 63, 60, 58, 59. Okay, well, it's maybe like 1 or 2, maybe 2 or 3 frames per second on average faster, it looks like, maybe. So maybe that's just enough to get a solid 60. Nope, 59. Okay, let's try one more thing. Let's try VSync. See if that helps smooth things out. What was it? Where was it? VSync. So I learned something about VSync from my friend Jakub. He's a Czech Republic. I was about to say Slovakia. Czech Republic. That country's changed your fucking name so many times. It's like, figure something out. Czech Republic or whatever your fucking name is. Czech. I think it's Czech Republic, right? Anyway. So. He was explaining to me what VSync does, and I was under the impression that it synchronizes frames, but I guess that's an after effect or a result of. How did he explain it? It limits the frame rate automatically to your refresh rate of your monitor. So whatever your monitor is set at, it just automatically like locks to that or something close to it, you know, or doesn't allow it to go above it. And then I think it's like in, you know, like, what is it? 10, 20, 30, 60, or what is it? 45, 60, 90, 120, 240, all those frame rates, like it'll lock it to those intervals or whatever it's called, I think. I'm not positive. But it's supposed to do something positive. A lot of people like say, like, turn that shit off. And I'm like, well, it makes the game look better. And they're like, no, VSync is stupid. And I'm like, why is it in every game then if it's stupid? I guess why is motion blur in every racing game? I guess maybe the same reason. Okay, so it does feel smoother, but maybe it's just placebo. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna say something. Codemasters, if you're watching this damn live stream, change how your windshield wipers work. Okay? I don't want to hold a button for like 6 seconds to get the high windshield wiper. I want the high windshield wiper first, and then the slow windshield wiper. Why would you ever need the slow one first, you know, in a time of emergency? You're just like, meh. Like, you don't want that. Anyway, fix your shit. Okay. And I want an ignition button. I want to be able to start the car. I don't want to start the car with the pedal. I want to be able to map it to my keyboard. I want to map it to whatever gear I have around. That's what I want. I've tried to get them to... I mention that on the forums all the time. I'm sure everyone's fucking sick of hearing that. This looks smoother. Or it feels smoother. I don't know. Again, maybe it's placebo because I'm thinking it looks smoother because... Okay, we're at 57, 50... Okay, we're down to 55, 54. Okay, 54 is the lowest I've seen so far, you know, when I glance up. So that's kind of weird that it's the lowest we've seen, which it's inconsistent when I look up, right? Because it could have... Oh, 50! 48! We got a 48! That's... I think that's the lowest we've seen with this setting. Maybe that's the lowest we've seen so far. And now the game's looking kind of jittery. Not looking too good here. I think it's one of the worst feelings when you have a very high performance monitor and you can't get it to perform well with your chosen game. I think that's a really... Look at the after image. Can you guys see this? Can you see the after image of the windshield wipers? Wow. Like, you can see like some straight up lines and they're like... It's almost like a burn-in, like visually. Wow, that looks really bad.
Well, there will be some unhappy faces in and around the service park later today, as this crew have now been disqualified from the event. I doubt their team will be very pleased with that.
I'm not pleased. Hey, a computer got a penalty? Hey, that's new. Okay. There's a new update coming for this game. As many of you all know, I will be doing a review, a live review of the update, and see if some of the things I've been requesting for, what is it, 6 months or something like that, or however long this game has been out, I've been requesting them directly to the developers and then to people that are very close to the developers this whole time. They've made some changes based on my recommendations, so I appreciate that, especially in the sound department. They've made some changes based on some of my feedback. That's good. But I don't know why they can't change some simple little things, like adding some more buttons to be mapped, right? I want ignition. I want a new, what is it? I think, is there a neutral function? I don't think there is, right? I think it's a bit weird to have a modern racing game that doesn't allow you to have a neutral button. 'Cause from what I know, a lot of these transmissions have a button where you can just go directly to neutral, so you don't have to, like, after you crash or spin out or something. Let me see if I'm correct in my thinking here. They still haven't changed the buttons on the bottom, how they just move around like fucking, that's dumb. Look, see how it went from continue to now it's back? I can't count how many times I'm like looking at the screen in the middle and I'm just thinking I'm hovering over continue, right? Oh, and then... Okay, now they made it to where you have to... Oh, look, maybe they changed that. Made it to where, like, you can't just press... Like, I'm actually pressing it right now. You can probably hear it. And until I actually move my mouse a certain amount, it won't let me press something again. So that's kind of cool. So maybe they made that change to help PC users. But let me see in the controls here if I'm correct. So... I guess we'll just go to shifter. And let me see if there's a neutral. Let's see, sequential up, sequential down. Yes, no, there's no neutral function. So you have no ability to map a button to neutral, which in my opinion is ridiculous. So Let's say you have a sequential shifter with, you know, the little neutral button on there. You can't do anything about it. It's just not there. There's nothing for you. Obviously, for an H pattern, it doesn't matter because you can just be in neutral, right? So that's cool. But for sequential, like if you're in 6th gear or 7th gear and you lose traction, you spin out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know, to get all the way back to neutral and then into reverse, right? You've all seen that. Like, you've seen someone crash streaming or whatever, and they're like, you know, if they got like a shifter, like, oh my god, I got to get back on course really quick. Anyway, oh my god, look how jittery the stream is. It's garbage. We're ending the stream. Have a good day. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in a better quality stream. I don't know what the hell is going on here. Fuck. It says excellent.